So all the farmers voted for Brexit because of Nigel Farage, and now they're all protesting alongside Jeremy Clarkson, who's basically Nigel Farage on wheels. So let's see what's happening.
So it's not about you. It's not about your farm and the fact that you bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax.
Classic BBC there. Classic. Oh yeah. It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it.
These people.
First of all, he gets more and more like Alan Partridge every day. Clarkson's got some sort of dairy. Basically, Clarkson's got some sort of dairy farm on the go. He's got a farm and a scam on the go where he doesn't have to pay inheritance tax. So this is a new thing brought over by Labour, which says if you own land worth more than £1 million, you've got to pay 20% tax, which is actually discounted from 40% that it should be. So it sounds like a good deal. It sounds like the farmers are getting a good deal. Over the years, things like ATOS, austerity, shutting down community centres, libraries, swimming pools. It's been the poorest who have had to suffer the most because of the banking crisis in 2008. This is probably one of the first times I've heard of anyone with a bit of money getting taxed a bit more. And it doesn't go far enough at all, in my opinion. But if you own an estate worth more than £1 million, then you pay 20% tax instead of 40% tax. It seems like a good... Now, I can't say I'm an expert on agricultural issues, but I did get shot at by a farmer with a gun of some description when I was about 10-year-old because I was running a bit of field. And I've also spent most of the last 20 summers on farmlands of some sort for music festivals. I like eggs. I like cheese. I like chicken. So I've got a lot of respect for the farmers who actually do work. And there's farmers that actually work really hard and they want to pass it on to their children. I can see their point of view. But I think they made a massive error in letting Jeremy Clarkson, who is Nigel Farage on wheels, do a press campaign to try and drum up public sympathy. There's not much public sympathy left. Everybody's skint. The price of gas and leckie's through the roof. People can't afford to go out anymore. People can't afford to eat or heat. And this guy is blatantly on telly talking about how it's going to be inconvenient for him because now he's going to have to put everything into a trust, which is another grey loophole for people like him to avoid paying tax as the public services crumble. The NHS is on its knees and he's worried about having to fill out a form. I mean, I don't know what it goes into doing a trust, but I think you need to fill out a form. So it's a bit inconvenient. As somebody who hates filling out forms, I can relate to that. But I can't relate to Jeremy Clarkson, and Jeremy Clarkson's annoying. He's an annoying toff. Nobody's going to care. Nobody cares. Won't someone please think of the millionaires? And maybe there's a middle ground whereby legitimate farmers could maybe avoid doing this, paying this thing. and just sort of crack down on the people that are blatantly doing that. As he admitted in the Sunday Times that he's just doing it as an avoidance scheme. So maybe you could crack down on the tax avoidance rather than the legitimate farmers. But if you're a farmer and you're owning land worth £3 million, then your kids can just, you know, I mean, the price of the land, the price of the value of houses is through the roof. So just like pay the inheritance tax like everyone else. That's what I think. I just don't have enough sympathy in me today. I don't have enough sympathy in me to care about Jeremy Clarkson having to pay tax. I don't have enough sympathy in me that he might have to fill out a form to find another legal loophole. I just don't care enough about Jeremy Clarkson. And it's nothing to do with the farmer shooting at me when I was 10-year-old. I shouldn't have been in the field. And it was probably just a pellet gun anyway. So I don't hold grudges like that. I remember Jeremy Clarkson getting sacked, and then they were saying it was political correctness gone mad. But did they not punch a guy because they didn't give him the right sandwich or something? And he was kind of like, "Is political correctness gone mad? What kind of country is it where you can't punch a guy in the face for getting your dinner rang? Great Britain ain't so great anymore." And speaking of sandwiches, the kind of people who like Jeremy Clarkson are also the kind of people who like reading the Daily Mail, who have actually got a thing today whereby, what they saying to it, that Gen Z, apparently they're woke now because they don't have ham and mustard sandwiches anymore. I think the definition of woke has been bastardised to a whole new level now. Now, anyone who uses the word woke without a shred of irony needs to go in the bin. It's woke to not have ham and mustard. I mean, I would say mustard is a bit spicy. Surely any kind of spicy food is woke. I bet you Jeremy Clarkson thinks it's woke that he has to pay his tax. That is woke. It's woke that he's got to... His kids, who didn't even earn the money, are going to have to pay a little bit of tax to help the NHS, which is on its knees. But people wanting to save the NHS is also woke now. It's all woke. So in summary, yeah, I looked at it. I can't really find any sympathy for millionaire, tax avoiding, faco-daco farmers. I just don't have enough sympathy or empathy. There's nothing left. I don't have it. I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left for them. I couldn't give a shit. And I don't think the majority of people will care. If the government does a U-turn on this one, then it's a joke. Considering they're still refusing to admit that there's a genocide happening. And if you care about genocide, that's also woke as well. It's all woke. It's all woke. But anyway, that's the news. Now, this is the bit where most people would say, like, subscribe, and join my Patreon at patreon.com/YouCallThatRadio. But that's something that I would never, ever, ever do.